year was 2005. I was 16 years old, and the Eric Johnson signature came out, and I think this remains one of the best Fender guitars that you can buy from the non-custom shop side of things, and maybe even in some ways, certainly the way they used to talk about it, it used to be talked about as if it was made with a lot of the same kind of vibes as one of those. I don't know if that's still really the case, but I wanted to do a video on this one today. This belongs to Tony from up the road. You might have seen me playing it in a couple of videos before. He's modified this one, but you know, at its core, it's still essentially got some of the really cool specs that I think make this Strat stand out apart from some of the other production stuff. This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. You might notice that this guitar looks particularly, well, kind of weathered, relict, and this is just actual play wear. This has been Tony's main Strat, I think, for quite a long time at this point. To me, is kind of gives you that inspiration of why having sort of a one Strat kind of playing thing, you know, where you play one guitar a lot, kind of what there is to aspire to about that. Now, I did find some of the story of the Eric Johnson Strat on Fuzzfaced. Essentially, I think the pickups, they had like 180 prototypes that they went through and then narrowed it down to 18 or something like that, and even went back as far as trying to order certain thicknesses of form vile wire to replicate what was in his original kind of Strats. It's a 12-inch radius, so in terms of, you know, you take what you like about the vintage stuff and get rid of what you don't. 12-inch radius, big chunky neck, I think thicker than the American Vintage 2 57. They say it's a V kind of profile, but it's so soft that, to be honest, it doesn't really feel very V-ish at all, and certainly up at this end of the neck very rounded. So if you're scared of V-shaped necks, I don't think this one would be a worry. Tony has also changed this bridge pickup for a creamery P90 style, so it's a bit of a hotter pickup in the bridge, and he's changed these saddles, which are these are the locking, whatchamacallits, that are like on Pete Thorne's. I don't know if those are particularly necessary, but they're on here. And he's changed this one for a 500k volume pot PRS, and these two are bare knuckle. He's obviously had some time on his hands to do all this stuff. And then the frets are stainless. And yeah, I just think it's one of those candidates. I think sometimes about, like, what if I didn't have K-line guitars? Like, what would I be playing instead? And at the moment, I think my two candidates would be a PRS Silver Sky, which obviously comes with a bit of John Mayer baggage, or an Eric Johnson signature, which has less John Mayer baggage, right? The weights of the early ones, so they were specifically selected for lightweight Alder, two-piece bodies. I don't know if that's still the case. If you look at I looked on Peach's website, they've got one of the Virginia ones in stock, which is a sassafras, probably not how you say it, body, which is not Alder, but that one comes in at 8 pounds and 6 ounces, which is really pretty heavy for a Strat. So I don't know if, like most Fender guitars at the moment, I don't know if the Eric Johnson ones have gone the same way. I think they're using less mature wood, or selecting that lightweight wood for their custom shop stuff. I don't know, or maybe you just need to be a bit picky and try and find a lighter weight one, because yeah, an 8 pound and 6 ounce Strat to me is the sort of thing I'd expect from Squire, not from a £2,200 Fender. Now, so the neck. What I like about it is that it's essentially just spec'd, as signature guitars go, it's really not far off just being a Stratocaster, is it, right? And I kind of like that as an idea. The steel block, I think he did some extra things on, like, I think it's a tighter steel block than your average steel block, if you check on Fuzzface for that as well. So there are some real differences, like details that he seemed to care about, no string retainers, staggered tuners, so you've got a bit more things ringing over here, and that changes the string angle at the nut. This bridge is decked, so that's not going to be a thing where I'm going to try the trem particularly, but a chunkier neck. definitely this P90 is going to be darker than your average bridge pickup, right? That's probably a really good idea that Tony's had there, because you're not getting that kind of proper kind of two worlds thing that you sometimes get on a Strat, where I love the sound of the neck pickup, but then balancing it with the bridge. My normal Strats have like a dirty blonde type arrangement where, like Lola, where your neck, the bridge is slightly hotter, to kind of make up for that change in tone. But this kind of works really nicely. So I think it's a really, really, really solid example of what a Strat should be. The pickups, to me, are voiced really well, and do that just like that classic sounding Strat thing that I like. You know, I've got other guitars, or had other guitars, and certainly, you know, some of the things like Sires and the Silver Sky SE, that to me, the pickups are a little bit more, too much bass and too much treble. Like, they're a bit more full frequency than like the actual Strat should be. And that's the thing that like the Mexican player and the Player series seems to get right. And any guitar actually that I've played with actual Fender pickups in it, like a Fender guitar with Fender pickups, tends to sound, for whatever reason, more Stratty than a lot of other guitars that I've played. I don't know if that's similar for you guys, but yeah, I think this or the Silver Sky. I think the Silver Sky has a slightly more comfortable neck for me, even though bizarrely enough that's got the vintage radius. This, I think, might be a bit more pleasing for more people with that 12-inch radius, a slightly flatter fretboard. The other thing is that with the maple fretboard here, I guess I might be more inclined to think that might be a bit sticky feeling versus the rosewood. So that might be another area to check out. But I think definitely worth a look, because, yeah, the specs have stayed, I think, really consistent. I think you might find that the weights have started to creep up a little bit, if they're using older wood. Apparently the nitro is custom shop quality, they say. So yeah, lots of things to like about it. If you've got a kind of better shout for what you'd grab around this kind of price range, or, you know, an off-the-shelf Strat, let me know, and let other folks know in the comments. But for me, I think this is definitely one of them. Cheers, Tony, for letting me borrow it again.